Welcome to Tallinn, the beautiful capital of Estonia. In February, we spent a day and a half in Tallinn, and in this video, I want to share our route and some tips and tricks. We stayed at the City Box Hotel. I was surprised by the soft check-in, and it was fun to do. The room was quite small but sufficient for a short stay. There is a common kitchen and also a laundry room, but most importantly, it's only a few minutes walk from the old town. We started the day early and had breakfast at the restaurant in the hotel, then headed to the old town. We got Tallinn card for a day. It costs 34 euros, city transport and museums are free with this card, and it also offers additional discounts. I will share all in this vlog. After the breakfast, first thing to do was wandering around the old town and feeling the city's vibe. Our first stop was the 13th century Church of the Holy Spirit. On the exterior, you can see this beautiful carved clock that dates back to the 17th century. The interior is simple as the exterior. Therefore, Gothic-style stained glass windows get attention immediately. You can have a real winter wonderland in Tallinn in February. We continued our walk in the city. You will come across many shops selling amber stone jewelry. Amber jewelry, wool clothing and wooden items are the best gifts and souvenirs from Tallinn. Our next stop would have been the St. Nicholas Church, but unfortunately it was closed for renovation during our stay. Walking around the old city makes you feel like stepping back in time. We even found this gate, the only pedestrian gate in the lower town. Through the gate, we arrived at the Kick in the Kök Fortification Museum, which consists of 4 towers, city walls, and underground passages. We started our visit with Maiden Tower. No need to mention that the price of all these museums is covered with Tallinn card. This 14th century tower was used as a residential building in the 20th century and also gathering area for several significant artists. Of course, the glass windows were not here back then, but even if there was a small window, the view inspires the person to create in this peaceful atmosphere. Through the balcony, we walked towards the second tower, the Tallinn Tower. Somewhere in the 16th-17th century, the tower was known as the most feared prison and the most haunted place. I did not spend enough time there to confirm or deny the speculations. And here is our last gate tower on this side, the Short Leg Gate Tower. During our visit, there was the exhibition of Invisible Light, Freemasonry in Tallinn between the two world wars. Yes, each tower has a different vibe. We followed the route to the right when we entered the Maiden Tower. Now we are going all the way back to visit Kick in the Kök, again free with Tallinn card. Kick in the Kök means peek into the kitchen, because it was possible to watch the enemy cooking in their kitchen from the top of the tower. This tower is the largest and demonstrates the history of fortifications, weaponry, and many military activities. When it comes to this type of museum, my husband pays attention to every fact and detail, and I try to find other kind of beauty. For example, my favorite thing about this museum was its view from the top. One of the unique things you can do here is to visit the bastion passages. The primary purpose of these passages were to shelter the troops and create access from one defense structure to another. Over time, they were used for many different reasons by different people. It was used as a shelter during the Cold War. Later, it was a popular meeting point for punks of Tallinn, and homeless people used it as a shelter too. There was a time when people believed this place was haunted by ghosts. Now it's house for the Carved Stone Museum. After being underground for some time, we decided to continue our wander around the city. Of course, we had to stop by this glogi tent as soon as we saw it. Also, good to know that flavored almonds is quite popular in Estonia. I understand that visiting several museums is not for everyone. There are lots of open air and free things to do in Tallinn, like finding the terraces with the beautiful view of the city. Our first stop was the Kahtutsa viewing platform. Also, Almond was not only famous among people. This platform is the most popular one, but my favorite was the next one, the Patkuli viewing platform. I enjoyed the higher level view from the terrace. For lunch, we stopped at Dragon Tree Tavern. It has this medieval atmosphere and serves the same food every day. They had delicious soup, ox sausages, and several options of pie. We had all of them. The food was delicious. We even came back to this place on our second day. If you feel like having dessert afterward, you can visit the oldest cafe in the city. I was so happy that they had plant-based milk for cappuccino. In general, if you follow any specific diet, you will have many alternatives in Estonia. For example, almost on every menu we found gluten-free options. If you have rented a car or can use car sharing via the Bolt app, you can also visit outside the city center. After lunch, we drove to the Tallinn TV tower. It costs 15 euros per person, but it's free with the Tallinn card. An elevator takes you up to 166 meters in height, and the view is stunning. On the carpet, you can find the capital of your country and its direction. There's also a restaurant with a beautiful terrace. There are beautiful art museums far from the city center. One of them is located at Mariame Castle. It's a very interactive museum that makes you part of Estonian history. The permanent exhibition called My Free Country takes you through a journey starting from the early 20th century with the birth of the Republic of Estonia. The country declared its independence in 1918 in Pärnu. Although it took some time to recover from the war, in the room dedicated to 1930s, it's possible to imagine the glamorous life of locals. This independence ended with Second World War and later by the Soviet Union. Under this communist regime, there were lots of propaganda movies that shows how beautiful life is. Yet everyone was tiptoeing due to the big brother always watching by. In the early 90s, the Soviet Union collapsed and Estonia gains its independence once again. Thus, the final room are around consumerism in Estonia and all the new opportunities they had. As I said, this museum was very interactive and we spent quite some time working on this puzzle. The second museum we visited and enjoyed was the Kadriorg Art Museum. It was already dark and we didn't have a chance to wander around the beautiful park. The museum is located at this beautiful 18th century Kadriorg Palace, which means Catherine's Valley. It was used by Russian rulers as a summer residence, art museum, the residence of the head of the state, and again as an art museum. You can get familiar with the Western European and Russian art. The demonstrated art and palace's interior were inspiring and we had a wonderful time there. We had a beautiful day in Tallinn, filled with history, art and delicious food. But we needed to do one more thing, visiting a spa. We ended our day at the Kalev Spa and with the Tallinn City card we had 10% discount. It was clean and organized place and we had extra access to the Oasis Spa. We enjoyed swimming in the pool, relaxing at jacuzzis at different temperatures and trying different types of saunas. It was the best way to end our day in this beautiful capital of Estonia. As I said, we had more than one day in Tallinn, so here are some bonus tips on what to do. If you have at least half a day or more time in Tallinn, you can visit the beautiful Jägala waterfall. Half of it was frozen, yet it looked magical in winter. It's a perfect place to spend a peaceful time away from the city. If you have a full day and have already visited the top sites of Tallinn, you can take a ferry to visit Helsinki for a day. That's exactly what we did, but more about that in the coming vlog. If you have enjoyed this vlog, like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to my channel to not miss the coming adventures. Happy travels!